What's happening, people? Good afternoon to you, or good morning, or evening, wherever you're listening to around the world. 12th man is back. We're going to be talking a lot about Arsenal today and their injury crisis. Do we have an injury crisis? Do we have problems at Arsenal right now in many areas of the team? If we talk about it, it isn't just about the departments of Arsenal right now, it's the players that have allowed these departments to get weak. And I think we've got to discuss it now because it is becoming a bit of an issue. We've got a massive game coming up at Liverpool that we're going to be talking about. If you haven't done so already, please do me a favor. Make sure you hit the like button, make sure you hit subscribe, and make sure that notification bell is on. Please check out my fan cam on literally the video just before this one. And hopefully you'll agree with a lot of what I've said there in terms of concerns. Do me a favor today. This is about you guys. I want to make this show about interaction. I want to make this show about questions and answers. And if you've got anything you want to ask, please just put a question in. It doesn't have to be a super chat. Super chats, of course, will be read out and go to the front of the queue. But this is about questions. This is about getting your thoughts and opinions on what you would like to see happen in the coming days, because it's going to be really tough against Liverpool. We might not have some players. Big up to everybody that's in the chat. Make sure you put a Q at the start so I know that it's a question, and then it's easier for me to start and go through. Let's do it. Once you've hit the like and subscribe, we can get on with the show. Big up to everybody that's in the chat. Big up to Sean. Carol, great to see you last night at the game. Views, big up, man. Literally just spoke to you on Hooks' channel. Make sure you go and follow Halftime Hooks. You left as I come in from Hooks' stream. Yeah, big up, bro. I'm really sorry I had to go, but it was a pleasure to meet you as well, my bro. Really appreciate that. Helsinki as well. Khalid, and everybody else that's in the chat room at the moment and that's listening to me on catch up. Big up to Franklin as well. Love, bro. Hope you're well. And big up to Anthony as well. Look, we've got to be asking questions at the moment about the injuries at Arsenal. We're getting so many. It's unlucky. I'm not going to put it down to anything. I'm not going to say that the reason that we're injury prone is because we bought injury prone players, because our training ground isn't good enough, because our tactics are too rough, because we're too aggressive in training, because we're going in too hard in tackles in the game. Nothing like that. Some of it's just been really unlucky. The big injuries at Arsenal so far this season have actually occurred away from Arsenal's football ground in terms of the actual international injuries we got to Saka and Ødegaard. So we can't be sitting there blaming Arsenal too much. The problem we've got is I think it goes back down to the summer and us not doing enough, because right now we're looking pretty short. The bench is not looking great, if I'm honest with you. I didn't think the window was great. I called it out saying that the Cronkies and Edu didn't do enough. And unfortunately, it's now kind of coming to fruition as to some of the worries. I didn't think it would be this early, but unfortunately, injuries can happen at any time. And therefore, we're in trouble. We're in trouble. So, look, I don't want to sit there and start going mad about, why this is now a disgrace and why we're now in an absolute mess because of X, Y, Z. We're here. We've got to deal with it. Arteta's got to find a way to get through this period. And unfortunately, luck ain't on our side. But do you know what? Sometimes luck ain't on your side in football, and you have to get through it. And we're in a position at the moment where we're struggling to know what our best 11 is, let alone a fit 11 that we can pick from. And that's what I want to kind of look at today. I've done my reaction from last night. Go check that out. Get your questions in, because I really want to know what you are thinking right now going into this weekend. Because let's be real, people. We're in a scenario where we actually have to win this game. We have to. People are saying it's a must not lose. I'm cool with that. I think people will take a draw now because Liverpool are a good side. But if we really want to put the pressure on, we have to 100% beat Liverpool. And what's coming up next is we've got Preston away in the cup. We want to be in that. We want to make sure we beat Inter Milan, don't we? Yeah. And we've got to beat Newcastle and Chelsea away. So we've got 4 away games after this home game at Liverpool. Now, let me start there, because that's all that matters right now. Shakhtar is done. The way we're playing is a concern. The injury problems are a concern. Let's just solely focus on Liverpool. Liverpool got Alisson out, but other than that, they've got a pretty fit squad. Their back line is looking good. It's the best in the league. Their midfield has really impressed me. I've always been a fan of Alexis McAllister, but I think Ryan Gramovich going into that 6 has really given some stability and not really allowed for their issues to be a problem there. Curtis Jones was man of the match for me. Definitely the player of the match against Chelsea. And then I've got a front three at the moment that are scoring goals. Salah, Jota and Diaz, all on the score sheet so far this season, with Gakpo doing well as well from the left. So Liverpool have got a good side. Liverpool are going to be a problem. Make no doubt about it. Liverpool be tough. Liverpool be difficult. What is this Arsenal side going to look like? We've got some problems, and it's at the back. Before I go into the defence, Saka, Odegaard. Without Saka and Odegaard, we have some problems in creativity. We cannot create anything. And people will say that's harsh on Trossard, Sterling, Jesus and Havertz, but it's not harsh. It's perhaps a harsh reality. We have a huge, huge problem right now with the cover to Odegaard and Saka. Now, I'm not saying that we don't have cover because we've got Jesus, Sterling and Trossard that have come in. But let's start with Odegaard. Because although the results have suggested that we haven't missed Odegaard because we've been winning games, we definitely have on the pitch missed his creativity, his vision, his weight of pass, his press, and let's be real, his leadership qualities. I think he's been a massive miss. So I have to be real. I'm disappointed we never got cover for Odegaard that was adequate. And what I mean by that is, yeah, you're not going to replace Odegaard. You're not going to go and get a Danny Olmo perhaps that wants to come and sit on the bench and wait his turn. But you could have gone and got an Eze who would have 100% implemented himself into this side, either wide right or in the 10. I said we needed that. We didn't go and get it. So what did I think? Wow, this manager really trusts Ethan Nwaneri. Because at 17, I'm not so sure he's ready. But he must trust him because he sold Smith Rowe, he sold Nelson, he sold Vieira, and he sold Nketiah. And he only bought in Sterling. 4-1 don't go. That means we're 3 short somewhere. Must be Nwaneri. He must be able to cover for both Vieira and Smith Rowe. But he doesn't trust him because he doesn't bring him on. There's opportunities to start him, doesn't start him. Brings him on at 2-0 down against Bournemouth. What an insult. He lit up the game when he came on at home against Leicester. So look, we're in a position where Nwaneri might need to be used now. And I think we might need to start seeing him a little bit more often. Yeah, he'll play at Preston. I expect him to. He probably expects to. But for me, I feel like we need to actually see a lot more of him now, even if it's from the bench. I'm cool with him coming on, by the way. I'm not saying we need to start him. I'm saying we need to see him because he's given us a bit of a lift when he seems to come on. I think it's time. I think it must be. Does Arteta think it's time? Because that's what matters. He's the one who knows best. Surely, bringing on him is better than some of the other options we've got from the bench. Surely. And I want to start seeing him now integrated into this side because I think it's needed. Then we move to the Saka position. I don't like Saka being out like anybody else. But we actually have Sterling and Jesus that have won combined more than Saka could actually dream of winning, right? But they're not playing like it. Sterling's coming on and he's running into players. He's not really showing any confidence or belief that he's going to be beating man and whipping it in or trying to create something to cause some assists or even goals. And Gabriel Jesus has gone 23 games without a goal now, which is very concerning, by the way. Very concerning. So I don't believe there's anyone right now that can get excited by the performances of Jesus and Sterling. They need to up their game, man. They need to. It's just facts. Those two need to start taking it to another level. Bringing back their Manchester City form. Bringing back their winning mentality. Taking on man and actually getting past them and creating and scoring goals. Because that's what they can do. The problem is, was it too long ago now? The last time both of these two played well was probably COVID with Man City. So, look, we're in a position where we need to get 3 points at the weekend. We need to. People will take a point, but let's be real, Man City will then just get away from us even more. Liverpool, we won't be able to peg them back. Really, we've got to win. And I think in the next 3 Premier League games, we've got to pick up 7 points minimum from 9. We need 9, really, but 7 we'd accept. So that means if we're going to draw to Liverpool, which people are suggesting we might do at the weekend, that means we've got to beat Chelsea and Newcastle away. That's very hard to do. Now, look, we get through this tough period. We're pretty good after that, right? We are. From mid-November to late November onwards, after the international break, I think it is actually, we're actually looking a lot better. Yeah, every game's hard in the Premier League, but we haven't got to go to tough grounds. Now, Anfield is towards the latter part of the season. Old Trafford we have got to go to, but we don't know what they're going to be like at the moment. Is Ten Hag still going to be there? Let's see what happens. But they're the only two grounds I can think of that I'm like, oh, they're tough. Everyone else we've done. We've gone to City's ground. Yeah, we're going to go to Newcastle and Chelsea very soon. Liverpool at home, obviously, but Tottenham away, Villa away. Most of the top six there, we would have played away from home in the first part of the season. So, yeah, it's difficult and it's unkind fixture-wise, but if we do go down a little bit, then do you know what? We've got the fixtures that are in our favour to claw ourselves back into it. I don't want to think like that. I don't want it to be the case. But it might be. Because this is going to be tough with the players that we have out. It doesn't look like Saka, Timber and Erdegaard are going to be fit for the weekend. Timber and Saka haven't trained yet. That's quite worrying. They've got a few days. Let's hope that we can get them fit for that game. Because with Timber and Saka into this side, I start to feel a hell of a lot more confident. I do. I really do. So, look, we're in a situation where we're struggling to work out what our 11 will be against Liverpool. So let's take a little bit of a look at it because there's a few options we've got here. There's a few options we've got. Let me tell you what I would go with because a lot of people are wondering where we're at and who actually is fit and how we can get through this game and this period to get what we need, which is 3 points, or at least not to lose the game. Some people see it very differently. Some people are looking at the back line in a different way. I am assuming that we have Timber and Saka back. And I'll tell you what I would do if we don't have Timber and Saka, because it does look different. It does look different without Timber or Saka. And I'm confident if we get them back that we will have a fair play. I actually didn't mind Jesus last night in the first 20 minutes. I thought he looked sharper, but his performances have not been good. I didn't mind Sterling against Bournemouth because he was actually trying. Then he got took off. It weren't great, if I'm honest. It wasn't great, but I didn't mind him. The problem I've got is they are massive drops off from Saka. So let's take a look, man. I've put it on a little tactics board and I've made it big so people can hopefully see it. This is what I think could happen with Saka and Timber in the side, right? This is what I'm kind of praying for anyway. A lot of people are looking at it in a very, very different way. This is what I would do, right? And people might look at it and go, what, Rice, centre back? What's happening here, Dan? Lost your mind. The reason I would do that is because I don't particularly like Rice in the 8. I don't think he'll be missed from midfield if he's playing in the 8. He would from a 6 if we had no other 6. But Partey's there, right? Partey's there. So for me right now, Raya's in goal. Gabriel's definitely playing at left-sided centre-back. But what's happening elsewhere? I'm imagining Timber's fit here, right? We're going to come to it again in a minute if he isn't, because there's another thing we can do. White, Rice, Gabriel, Timber, Partey, Marino, Trossard, Saka, Havertz, Martinelli. If that's the team, yeah, on Sunday, I have a lot more confidence going into this Liverpool game. I really do. I have a lot more confidence. There's other things you can do there, but for me, if that was the lineup, I would actually be okay with it. I wouldn't say, wow, we're going to win this game, but I would 100% say that we have actually got a chance of beating Liverpool with that side. Because really, there's only Odegaard and Saliba that's missing. Right? Odegaard and Saliba that's missing. If Saka and Timber are not there, then we might have to change things up. Now, if Timber's out, there's not much that we can do, right? If Timber's injured, we take him out. We're going to have to either play Kivior there, which I'm not too happy with because Salah is going to be against him. If you don't want Kivior, the only other option is Zinchenko. And I'm telling you this now, hell no, do I want Zinchenko going up against Salah. I think he will cook him like he's done most seasons. So that is not the option I want. I'd actually rather play Kivior there, right? I rather would. But if we don't play that, which I don't think Arsene Wenger, I don't think Arteta will, if Timber isn't fit there, and you want to play, if Timber is fit, but you don't want to play Rice in centre back, then what you can do if you put Timber back there is play Partey at right back, Rice into midfield, and put Ben White in at centre back. That's something that could happen, right? What could also happen, and it might be that we start with this, is Timber's not fit. So he plays Zinchenko in there with Gabriel, White and Partey, and then Rice, Marino, Trossard goes into midfield. If Saka is out of this one and he isn't fit, the only other option really is Jesus or, of course, Sterling. Depends who you want and who you prefer. I'm personally flip of a coin at the moment. I don't think either of them are performing. I think Jesus is probably the one that I would start with on the right. But let's be real, neither of them are putting up trees, right? So that's where I'm at right now, people. Havertz is going to play. Martinelli's going to start on the left. Trossard's going to play in the 10. Wanyeri's the only one to bring on, really, that can be creative because everyone else is, at the moment, injured. Marino, I think, will play in the 8, whatever. And then it's Partey or Rice, depending on who wants to play. Now, it could be that Marino doesn't play this one and he puts Partey and Rice in midfield. And we've got players back at right back. But I think that Ben White, Partey, or Timber, they've all got problems at the moment. So for me, Calafiori being out, Timber probably being out, Saka probably being out, Ødegaard definitely being out. I think this is the best that we can hope for at the moment, guys. Because if Timber's out, either Zinchenko or Kivior's got to play. If Saka's out, either Jesus or Sterling's got to play. Centre-back, we might have to play Ben White there. So, I don't know what your thoughts are. I don't know if you like that team. I don't know if you think that team is just setting up for a killing or if we've got a good chance of getting something from the game. Yes, we've got problems creativity-wise. We've got problems in the final third. We've got problems, without a doubt, looking at the defensive problems at fullback. There's no doubt about that. But actually, as a team at the moment, defensively, midfield, and across the attack, it ain't settled. There's question marks. And people can say it's injuries, and of course it's injuries as to why we look different, right? But there's massive question marks about the squad. Is it good enough? Are we stronger than last year? I'm not so sure that we are. I'm really not so sure that we are. We needed a striker. At the moment, it's not an issue because Havertz is fine. But if he does get a knock or get sent off, who are we playing up top? Jesus, who hasn't scored in 23 games? Saka cover is Sterling and Jesus. Is that good enough? Trossard is the cover for Ødegaard and he's having to make shift there. Midfield, Rice, Marino, Partey. I mean, at the moment, I'm not sure if Marino is really a massive improvement from what I've seen early days. Of course, I'm going to give him time. Rice is definitely not an 8. He's a 6. But Partey's been so good in the 6. Probably one of our better players this season, along with Raya, I would say. And then at the back, it's just a mess. All of our fullbacks are injured. Tomiyasu, Zinchenko just come back. Timber injured. Calafiori now injured. White only just come back from injury. Saliba now suspended. Wow. What a mess. So we've got to sort this out. I'm looking at the discipline at Arsenal. Yeah, potentially there's a problem, but I think it's for Arteta to put right. There's an opportunity for a couple of the youngsters at the moment. Hopefully he trusts them enough. Interesting that Lewis Skelly come on last night instead of Zinchenko or Kivior. That was really interesting for me. Is he looking at him potentially at one of the fullback areas? Be a big throw in the deep end against Liverpool, but does he trust him enough? Ethan Wanyeri, why was he not coming on last night when we were struggling with creativity and Trossard pulled an absolute stinker out the bag? Why did he not get minutes? Surprised. Very surprised by this. Very surprised. So, look, I think we're in a scenario where whatever we go with, we have to look at the board and the ownership and say, was that a good summer window? Was it? Because injuries happen. Yeah, injuries happen. We've got too many players injured at the moment, but the majority of them are injury-prone players, like Tierney, like Tomiyasu, Jesus. Partey we're hoping doesn't get injured, but he's injury-prone. Tomiyasu, Timber's only just come back from ACL. Calafiori has had injury-prone seasons in Italy. we're relying on these guys not to get injured. We've got durable players, don't get me wrong. Odegaard and Saka are actually two of them. It's rare that they're both out, and especially rare that they're both out together. Gabriel and Saliba likewise. Rice, Havertz, Ben White. These are players that usually fit every game, to be fair. Trossard, another one. They're good. Good, durable players. We need more like that, yeah? More like that. So look, I felt we were Gyökeres and Eze standing away from having a good window. If we had those two now, we'd actually have some firepower either starting or from the bench. But we haven't done that. We haven't. And now that's where we have to look at the ownership and Edu and the guys and say, have we done enough? Have we given Arteta enough tools to win that Premier League title? Does that squad look better than Man City? So that's what it's got to be. Not equal to or, yeah, it's nearly there. Is it better? If the answer is no, they haven't done enough. If the answer is yes, we need to go win the league. Otherwise, Arteta is underachieved because it's a good enough team to win it, apparently. I would argue it's not good enough to win it, which is why if we don't win the league, I'm not shocked. But we need to win a trophy because the team's good enough to win a trophy. Of course it is. It's good enough to win a Carabao Cup. If Ten Hag can do it, so can we, right? So we need to win a trophy. That's for sure. Let's take some of your questions now, man. Views, big up, says, what 3 things would you do to change up things at Arsenal right now? I would start trusting Ethan Nwaneri is the first thing I would do because we're going to need him. I would play Rice at centre-back for the Liverpool game because that is something that's needed and wouldn't affect the midfield. And for me, the other thing I would do is look now at what we're going to be doing in the attack in January. Gyökeres, could we get him? Marmoush from Frankfurt, could we get him? He's on fire. Is there something we can do in the attacking midfield area as well? If it's not Gyökeres or Marmoush, is there somebody that we can get? If it's not Isak, Jonathan David, do you know what I mean? If we've got to bring in someone, we have to. Should have done this in the summer. So they're probably the 3 things, bro. They're probably the 3 things. This one comes in from Mustafa. He says, what's your back 4 if Calafiori Saliba is out for Liverpool, Dan? Look, I've just gone through it. I believe that is the best we can hope for. If Timber's fit, we go White, Timber, Rice and Gabriel. If Timber's not fit, we're going to have to bring one of the left-backs in, Zinchenko or Kivior. We've got no other option. I'd personally bring in Kivior ahead of Zinchenko. I would bring Miles Lewis-Skelly ahead of Zinchenko because I've seen him get cooked too many times against Saka. But let's be real. That's probably what it's going to be, bro. If I had to guess what it would be, I think it will probably, with Timber out, be Partey at right back, Zinchenko or Kivior at left back, and then Ben White and Gabriel at centre back. But we have to see who's fit. Gary O'Sullivan's got a question, says, what do you think of Arteta? Done brilliant to get us challenging. Need to see him get across the line. It really is that simple. Win us a trophy. Otherwise, there'll be question marks this season and it will get messy. Zero Ednem says, Dan, firstly, keep up the quality content. Always enjoy listening to your balanced and realistic opinion. Big up to you, bro. Really appreciate that, Nems. Any news on Saka, Timber or Calafiori? Well, Calafiori, I think, will definitely be out. Saka and Timber have not trained. Odegaard's definitely out. So it's looking pretty bad for those guys. However, Saka and Timber could surprise last minute. They're trying to get him fit. Odegaard, I don't see it. Unfortunately. But I'm praying they're fit. Jack says, why does Arteta treat injury updates like MI5? Classified information. Yeah, I don't think he wants to let on to the other team or rivals. I remember when he was coy about Odegaard, I think he knew straight away that he was going to be out till around November. But he just kept saying, we're not sure yet. We have to assess. We're not sure yet. Because he doesn't want to give a boost to rival fans. That's honestly all I can think that is with Mikel Arteta. Views again says, will Arteta park the bus against Liverpool? I think for part of the game he might. There's going to be an opportunity for us to go for it in the game. And I think that we need to. But let's be real. I don't feel there's really any need for us to be parking the bus against Liverpool at home. Like, we need to be going for this game, in my opinion. So, yeah, let's see. This one comes in from Mustafa. Says, against Liverpool, would you start Nwaneri or is it a risk? I think it's not a risk because he's ready. I think he's shown in performances he's ready. But I don't think he's going to. I think he potentially bring him on. But Trossard will be the 10. And he was poor last night, so he needs to pick his game up. That's for sure. Helsinki's the next guy on the questions. Get your questions in, guys. Make sure that you put super chat if you want to go to the front of the queue, or just a queue if you want to ask a question, and we'll get it up on screen and we'll talk. Big up to all of you in the chat. Make sure we get the likes up, people, as well. It's almost 200 in here. How many likes have we got? Not enough. So let's make sure we're not even at 100. Let's get up over 100 likes, please, people, and hit the subscribe button because we're very, very close towards getting to that 30k. Helsinki says, Dan, do you really think Arsenal will buy 2 or 3 players they need to be in with a chance to win the league in January? I don't think that we will get anybody in January. I think we need to, because I think Man City are going to be looking at a defensive midfielder and an attacking midfielder, and Liverpool apparently looking at a couple of players in January. That means Arsenal absolutely have to. We have to. Like, let's just be real. We absolutely have to. We must, as they say. If we don't get someone in January, I truly believe if we don't win a trophy and we don't win that Premier League, I just don't know how anyone can be backing the board and the ownership. It just isn't good enough when you look at things like that for me. So, look, big up to Northside for the raid. Absolute legend, man. He's literally just finished with Lewis. Big up to Northside. Absolute legend. Northside raid. Northside raid. Raid, absolute legends. Virgil van Vape raid. He always says that. Welcome all Northside Raiders. Yeah, come on, man. Absolute legend. He's a real one, Northside. Thank you so much, man. Absolute hero. Really appreciate that, my bro. That's real love for that. We'll be back tonight. Northside's going to be on tonight, 7 p.m. So please make sure that you are there for that one. It's going to be a mad show tonight, actually, people. 7 p.m. is going to be mad because you've got me, Igal, Brandon, Kenny Ken, and Igal. Me, Northside, Igal, Brandon, and Kenny Ken. That's going to be a lit panel, man. It's going to go off tonight because Igal is not panicking. He's happy. He still thinks we're going to win the league. You got Northside, who's not happy. You got myself, who's kind of like told you we weren't strong enough. Kenny, likewise. Brandon, kind of likewise as well. So, yeah, Igal's going to be given his chance to say why he's so confident still tonight, and we're going to be, we're going to be here for it. 7 p.m, people. Over 300 of you in here now. Please make sure you hit the like on the way in, people. Those of you from Northside stream, big up. Absolute legends. Love for all of you for coming over. Really appreciate that. Absolute legend. This next question comes in. Make sure you get your questions in, guys. Put a Q at the front of it. Normally a capital Q, unlike what Dave's done, but I did see it. It is just so easier for me to star it as a question. If you want to throw in a super chat, then of course do that. Do that. Someone's saying there's Saka news. Please let us know if there is. I'll take a check in a minute. Question is Trossard just an impact player? Whenever he starts, what he offers, he has no pace. Can't beat a man. Regularly gives the ball away. Which team in the top 5 does he get in? Answer is no one. Look, I think that's particularly harsh. Big up to you though, Dave. I like difference of opinions. What do I think? Trossard at the moment is the number 10. When Odegaard comes back, I think Martinelli probably starts ahead of him in Arteta's eyes because I don't think he's doing enough on the left. Martinelli was one of our better players last night. Martinelli has started to get good. And yeah, I'd keep him there. So, look, I get a bit frustrated when I look at people's performances and then they just go and they say 1 minute he's starting, next minute no he ain't. Not good enough. We need to see a level of consistency in people's opinions. Is what I'm getting at. Trossard is a good player. Trossard does not have the pace of Martinelli, but he's technically gifted. So let's just see, man. Let's just see. I'm a fan of both players. Just got to see where we're at. Just got to see. Hooks, legend. Yo, big up Potsy. I'm 1 sub away from 1K. I'm gassed. 1 sub. Do me a favor, people. Go over to Halftime Hooks and just hit subscribe and he hits 1K. And that's the goal. That's the milestone completed. I've got 278 of you in here. Just hit the subscribe button on Halftime Hooks and then come back in here and let me know you've done it because Hooks deserves it, man. 1K. He needs to get to 1K. And then he can go to next level. So come on, big up Hooks as well, man. Absolute legend. Congratulations on that, brother. Lil Tim's breaking. Sam C has reported that Saka is set to be available for the match against Liverpool after completing first team training today. If this is true, this is fantastic news. Let me see what I can find on Twitter. I don't know how reliable Sam C is. If anyone can let me know, I don't really go by ITKs and stuff like that. If he's fit, that is a massive, massive boost. Massive boost. Yeah, here we go. It looks as if, let's share this. Let's share this. Okay, where are we? Hopefully, this is true and this is good news because that's what we want to be seeing, right? As you say, this has come from Sam C. Says Saka is expected to be available for the match against Liverpool after having completed first team training this week. 12 minutes ago, that was reported. Expected to be available to face Liverpool. Let's take a look at what, because there's quite a lot of the AFCV stuff. Normally they're quite good. Nah, see, they haven't got Gabriel in full flow. Arsenal fans chanting. But yeah, they've retweeted it as well. Tierney, Odegaard, and Saka all in attendance last night. Wow. Look, if he's going to be fit, that's a huge boost. I need to be seeing it. I need to be seeing Saka starting because that's what we need, right? And then we don't have to worry about is it Sterling or Jesus. We have to worry about Timber. It's a shame that they haven't said Timber is fit 100%. My Wi-Fi is moving mad, apparently, people. So apologies if it's lagging. Let's close some of these windows down. There we go. Hopefully that will help a bit. So yeah, look, let's see where we're at with Saka. That's amazing if that's true. If that's true, that gives me so much more confidence going into it. Big up to Hooks as well, because people have subscribed. That means he must be at 1K now. Big up to you, man. Absolutely well deserved. Top bloke. Okay, three things you chose. Yeah, views. I explained that one. Helsinki says, what's Arsenal's biggest loss to Liverpool when Arsenal are home? Let's not think like that, man. Let's not worry about that. Have to go back quite some way, I think, at home. Away, they've smashed us. But at home, I don't remember it being any more than 2. So let's hope that we don't have to worry about that. Let's be as positive as we can be. Lil Tim's, big up, bro. Says, Dan, it's been 5 years with no trophy. Do you think it's time to move on from him since he isn't good enough for our standards? Let's see where we are in May, because I'm going to give him till May. The only time I'd want him sacked before that is if we're floating around 7th and we're out of everything, right? So for me, we give him till May. If he does that, he stays. If he doesn't do that, then there's serious problems. Serious problems. I feel like if he doesn't win the Premier League, it's more on the board and the ownership. If he doesn't win a trophy completely, it's on him. So we win an FA Cup or a League Cup and we come second, he stays in the job because he's proven he can win. If he doesn't win the Premier League, but he wins a trophy, I'm not going to blame him for not winning the Premier League because I still don't think our squad is good enough. And I think the board and the ownership have got more to blame than Mikel Arteta because he's just using the tools he's been given. That's where I'm at, right? So let's see. This one comes in from Harvey. Big up to you, bro. It says January would go and buy Kudus. He can play on both wings and centre midfielder. Your thoughts? I think it's a summer move. There's rumours he's got an £80 million release clause in the summer that's going to be able to be activated. I think he'd be a phenomenal signing, but I do think that Nico Williams is the winger that we want. I think Nico Williams will potentially stay in Spain. I don't think that he will be coming to Arsenal, but he's the one that I've been told that we want. Let's see what happens. A lot of people asking about the Saka news. Yet looks like Saka is going to potentially be fit after taking part in training. So this weekend, big boost. Big boost. Kudus would be a good signing, though. 100%, Harvey. I actually do think he'd be a fantastic signing, but I think it's more for the summer. Lisa says, do you really think buying all these supposed attackers will change our boring football when we park the bus against Ben's Minnows? Spurs have created 5 times more big chances, and so have Liverpool. If you look at the XG at Arsenal, it's there. if you look at what's going on with potential of, sorry, I'm just looking at a comment there. Someone saying we should get Graham Potter and sack Arteta. Football madness. Sorry, Dan. I honestly think Arteta needs sacking right now. Potter is free. He'd be perfect with these players. Newcastle fan. Wow. Can't agree with that, bro. Can't agree with that. Look, Lisa, we're not going to park the bus in every single game. But without our attacking players, it's looking like we're okay to park the bus. We need to now start to try and get the best out of this team when Saka and Ødegaard aren't there. And that is what I wanted to talk about today, really, was what options do we have? There ain't many. Sterling is one. Jesus is another. Wanyeri is another. But that's it. That is it. That's all we've got. So it's going to be difficult, man. It's going to be difficult. Okay, who's next? Who's next? Who's next? Lil Tim's. Again says, Dan, how long have you been a season ticket holder for Arsenal? Since the Emirates, mate. 2006. And I used to go when I was younger to Highbury. Started going to Highbury when I was about 13, 14. Started to go to some away games when I was younger than that. I'm an Essex boy, so I used to go over to the border of Suffolk when Ipswich were back in the Premier League back in the day. Now they've just got back up. So I watched Arsenal versus Ipswich, one of my first games around 1994. It was a friendly, I think, actually. John Hartson and Ian Wright scored. That's how long ago it was. And I also watched Arsenal versus Wimbledon, who aren't even a club anymore, at Selhurst Park. We won 2-0. Patrick Vieira and Ian Wright both scored. No, it wasn't. It was Paul Merson and Ian Wright. That's right. Vieira set him up. So that's how long I've been watching football live. Been watching and supporting since 1992. 94, my first game. About 97 was my first proper game. And then in the 2000s, I started going to Highbury and then got my season ticket when we moved to the Emirates 2006. So, yeah, bit of nostalgia there, man. Bit of reminiscing. So thanks for that question. Appreciate that. Where else are we? I've missed some. Dan, I'm clearly bantering. Yeah, I know you are, man. That's why I was laughing. Where are we? Okay, cool. So let's go to the next one. Okay, here we are. Harvey says, don't you think psychologically it affects a young player bringing him on at 2-0 down? Do you know what? I was stunned that he brought him on at 2-0 down. I've got nothing wrong with him bringing him on. There's not a problem for me bringing him on, right? But for me, I just don't believe that at 2-0 down, you should be bringing somebody on like that when it's like, I should have started him. I should have started this guy. It's absolutely madness to me that we did not start Ethan Wanyeri ahead of Miko Marino. But that's done. That's in the past. Big up to Curtis, man. Absolute legend. Curtis, you're a hero. Thank you so much, man. Curtis Raids, C Unit takeover. Big up to C Unit. Absolute legend. Gotta love Curtis, man. He's going to be on here tomorrow, man. He's going to be on here tomorrow. Me and Curtis are going to be there at 1 o'clock. So we're going to be doing a show together on this channel, talking all things Arsenal, talking all things the weekend. So, yeah, man. Yeah, that's what we've got to be getting ready for. Me and Curtis on there. Absolute love for that, Curtis, man. You're an absolute gentleman, absolute hero. One of my besties, man. So big up to you, man. If you haven't done so already, go over to Curtis Shaw TV and make sure that you're hitting subscribe because the guy's an absolute legend. Plugging out content every day, talking all things Arsenal and talking real talk, man. So absolute legend, Curtis. Thank you so much, man. Really appreciate that one. Okay, this comes in from Helsinki. What do you think the score will be on Sunday? With Saka, I think we've got a chance. Defensively, I think we're going to draw. I'll go 1-1. At the moment, things could change. If I find out Timber's playing, if I find out we've got players back, things will change. But for me, I'm going to go 1-1. And I think a lot of fans would take it with the amount of injuries that we've got at the moment, man. Let me know in the chat what you're saying. We've got 3-2. We've got 2-2. What else have we got, man? A lot of Curtis Raids, man. Absolute legends. Love for coming over, man. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate you for doing that, Curtis. Top bloke. Yeah. A lot of that. 2-1. 1-0. 3-1. We'll put it out of the bag. Wow. We'll beat them 3-1. 2-1. 2-1. 2-1 Liverpool. 3-1 Liverpool. What else we got? 4-2. 4-2 Liverpool. Wow. Curtis Raid 1-1. Where else are we? Curtis sent us here. Legend, man. Big up to you. Really appreciate you all coming over here, man, from Curtis Stream. Absolute legends. Really appreciate that. Got a lot of Curtis Raids coming in now, man. Legend. 2-0 Arsenal, 1-0 Park the Bus, 2-2 Desmond, 2-0 Liverpool, 1-0 Arsenal, 4-4. Remember that one at Anfield? Remember that Arshavin, 4 goals. I don't think it'll be 4-4, that's for sure. I don't think Arsenal are scoring 4 goals, man. But we'll see what happens. But big up to you, man. Look, I think 1-1 is realistic. Liverpool could turn it on, but they haven't been outstanding. We're not going up against a team here that are pummeling everyone 4 or 5-0. Let's just be real. It ain't that. So we've got to be real about that. Yeah, Liverpool are a good side. They haven't particularly been tested properly yet. Chelsea are a good test for them, but that's the only one they've had, really. I didn't look at Liverpool this season and gone, how have they beaten Brentford? How have they beaten Wolves? Do you know what I'm saying? How are they beating Ipswich? Like, they've beaten the players that the teams I thought they would. But look, if Saka and Timber are back, I think we've got a great chance of winning the game. I'll say that. Great chance of winning the game. So let's see where we're at, man. That one's from Helsinki. Get your questions in, guys. We're going to do another sort of 10 minutes or so. So let's make sure we get these in. Serious question. Is Calafiori actually better than Zinchenko defensively? Yes. Let me shout that out more. Yes. Zinchenko is one of the worst defenders we've got, man. Come on. Come on, people. Look, Calafiori, I'll be honest about it. I haven't been set the world alight. I like him on the ball. I like his tackling ability. But his positioning is all over the place. And that's going to become an issue if he doesn't sort that out. Like, it really is going to become an issue if he doesn't sort that out. We need to. We really need to. So, I've got to say, there is 100% an opportunity for us to see the best of Calafiori. But I just got to be honest. I don't like his positioning. I think his positional sense he's got to work on. And people say, well, do you think he's a good defender or do you think he's good offensively? I actually think he's both. It's his positioning, man. I keep watching him and I'm thinking, are you actually looking at what's around you? Like, or you just had a like rush to the head moment? Because these rush of blood to the head moments are starting to become apparent to me, if I'm honest, from Calafiori. Even when he got injured last night, what was he doing? He got spun, he got hooked. Not sure. Not sure, man. Not sure. A lot of Curtis Raids, absolute legend, man. Really appreciate you coming over. This one comes in from Colin. Score predictions for Sunday. Yeah, we've just gone through that. I actually think it will be a draw. If Timber and Saka are back, I'll go 2-1. How about that? There we go. How about that for someone who's apparently toxic and negative, eh? How about that? This one comes in, says, for Dan, how would you set up the team against Liverpool to get a result, formation and personnel? If I'm honest, I did a bit of that earlier. I spoke about what my lineup would be, to be honest. And if Timber and Saka are fit, then actually I'm quite confident with what I think we'll do. I'll tell you what, I'll bring it back up again. Let me bring it back up again, because now that we've believed that Saka, and I'm hearing Timber as well, could be okay. That's what the chat is saying anyway. So let's bring it up, shall we? Okay. Let's bring up what I would do so that those that didn't see it earlier can now take a look. Here we go on the screen. That's what I do. And people laughed when I said this, by the way. They were like, what? You're playing Rice as a centre-back? Yeah, well, that's where he grew up, man. So, yeah, Raya, White, Rice, Gabriel, Timber, Partey, Mourinho, Trossard, Saka, Havertz, Martinelli. That team, we're only literally, we've got Erdegaard and Saliba missing. That's it. That's it. So I don't think we miss Rice in the number 8 position at all. I don't particularly like him there. That's what I would do. That's what I would do. I wouldn't play Zinchenko. I wouldn't play Kivior. I wouldn't go and put Partey at right back. I'd play this. Because look how many players are not out of position there. Raya, normal position. White, normal position. Gabriel, Timber, Partey, Marino, Saka, Martinelli, Havertz. There's only Trossard that's kind of out of position, but is he? Because he's number 10 there, really, and he's been playing there for a while. So basically, we're putting Rice out of position, and that's it. Otherwise, you've got to put Partey at right back, White in the middle, Zinchenko we don't like defensively at left back, Jesus on the wing because Saka ain't out. All this stuff, it just starts getting too much for me. So that's what I would do, people. But some people don't like it. That's opinions. If people would prefer Zinchenko at left back, then go for it. But he ain't for me. He is not for me. So let's see what happens. Got a few more questions to bring up. I'm going to try and star some that I've missed as well because people have asked them. I want to try and get as many as I can in. I hate missing questions, especially when I've asked for them. Where are we? Okay, cool. Here we are. Elliot, legend. Thank you, man, for coming over as well. I appreciate you. Okay, cool. So that one I've answered. Next question from Lil Tim's. Big up. He thinks the back four will be Partey, White, Gabriel, and Kivior. What's your thoughts? If I'm honest with you, yeah, I think that is what the back four will be if Timber, Calafiori, and others are out. He seems to be playing Kivior ahead of Zinchenko. We saw that against Bournemouth. He actually played Miles Lewis-Skelly ahead of them last night, which was very interesting because last night he went to Partey at right back. So I thought maybe that's what he's going to do at the weekend. And then the other thing he did was he brought on Miles Lewis-Skelly at left back ahead of Kivior or Zinchenko, which I was like, wow, Calafiori got injured and he brought on Lewis-Skelly. Like, was that to give him game time or was that because actually he's looking at him thinking, I think you're more reliable than Kivior and Zinchenko? Because Kivior was unreliable against Bournemouth and Zinchenko's been unreliable for the last 2 years. So maybe Lewis-Skelly is ahead of him. Can you imagine? Could you imagine? This is hilarious as well. Dan, you need to stop hating on Arteta. He needs his own players and time to develop a style of play. I think you're clearly trolling, bro. Clearly, you're trying to be funny. Yeah, I don't know. Clearly, he's mucking around there. Let's bring Jason in here, who's got an opinion. He says, Dan, we've been saying the same thing for the past 4 years. Circles. That's all we do. That's all we do. Trophies and lack of transfer activity and lack of, I agree with you. I totally agree with you. We've got to get that better. We've got to get better at that. We really have. Yeah, that's got to be a troll in it. Unbelievable. It really has. Mark, big up Mark, absolute legend. He says, would you prefer we win ugly or play more attractive football and just fall short? I watched Villa last night and their game was thrilling and exciting to watch. I want to win. I don't care how we win. People think we have to win by playing the most attractive style of football. That would be the dream and the ideal, the Pep way, right? But I grew up on George Graham. I've seen Simeone and Conte and Mourinho win things. And I never thought any of the fan base went, isn't it a shame we just won playing like that? They just went, wow, we just won. So Arteta playing like, a lot of people said they didn't want Simeone, they didn't want Conte, they didn't want Mourinho, but they like Arteta. Arteta's very similar to them, Very, very similar with the style that he's playing this season. Very, very similar. People don't like it. So what do they like? Do they want Simeone or do they not want Simeone? Do you know what I mean? I don't get it. I do not get it. It's very bizarre. Don't know what this fan base wants, Mark. I really don't. Jay says, why are people at AFTV constantly defending the deluded take that Jesus, Kivior, Sterling, Tommy, Zinchenko, Neto are good enough for Arsenal? It affects the progression with a platform that big. Look, they all got different opinions, man. I don't think it's everybody on AFTV that fancies those players. I think there's certain members that 100% do. But I know for a fact that Turkish isn't a fan of some of those names you've mentioned. I know for a fact that Curtis isn't. I know for a fact that I'm not. I know Troops isn't. Lee Judges isn't a name of some of those fans. So it isn't everybody on AFTV, man. So just calm, man. There is definitely people that have difference of opinions. So it ain't just the platform. It's people that share opinions on that platform. King Alex Richardson says, Dan, what we're saying about Victor Gyökeres, questions need to be answered. Go get him. Go get him. Release clause, 84 million. Go get him. Like, seriously, go get him. It's not going to be easy, but trust me, I personally believe that we need to go get him. 84 million pound release clause. Go and do it. 100 million euros. Just go and do it. Because he takes us to that next level. And I'll say it. I think he's better than Havertz. From what I've seen, he ball carries better. He finishes better. He scores more all-round goals better. His link-up play is as good. He can score with both feet. He can score all types of goals. Let's be real. Let's just be real. So that's where I'm at. So yeah, let's go. Good question, though, man. This one comes in from Who to Be a Guna. Love that. Who are you going for in the January transfer window? Keep up the great work and content, Dan. Thank you so much, man. Really appreciate that, my bro. Who would I go for in January? Gyökeres would be one. And if I'm honest with you, the other one I would go with, if I had to pick two, would be Eze. But I don't know that we've got that much money. I just don't. I don't think we've got that enough money. So we have to trust Wanyeri more and bring in Gyökeres. And that would be it. I'll be more than happy with that. And then you go again in the summer. I'll be more than happy with that. Okay, so this one comes in. Could Calafiori play in the 8? I don't think him and Zinchenko are going to be playing in the 8, bro. I really don't think they're going to be. I think they're going to be left backs. Could they play there? Yeah, I think they both could. But I just don't think they're going to be, if I'm honest with you. We got a super chat. Legend. Super chats always go to the front of the queue. Absolute legend. Brian, you are a hero as well because you always do super chat. Thank you so much, man. Zinchenko at left back is a sackable offence. I totally agree. If Zinchenko plays in midfield and he wants to be a squad player, fine by me. But he is not a left back, guys. He is not a left back. I do not want to know anybody talking about him going in at left back. It's just not going to be the case for me. So, yeah, I do not want to see Zinchenko playing left back either. Defensively, it is a shambles. Okay, Helsinki's asking, what time does our evening show start, Dan? I've got a 4:30 show with Lee Judges on Lee Judges TV. And then 7 p.m. tonight, I need everybody back here because it's going to kick off. It's going to kick off tonight because it's me and Northside, Kenny Ken, Igal, and Brandon. That's going to kick off. Trust me. I've already been texted today saying it's going to go nuts tonight. So 7 p.m. here, hitting the notification bell. It ain't going to be pretty. Even Igal texts me saying there's going to be blood tonight. He's not happy about how people are reacting. He ain't happy. So, we'll see. We'll get his opinions. That's why I like getting panels on that are different because you get difference of opinions and that's what it's all about, man. This one comes in, says, Wanyeri start. Why isn't he getting any playing time? Cooper, I have no idea what's going on. I'm not saying that he should start every game. I'm saying that we need to see more of him. Little glimpses that we've seen for 10 minutes are great, but they're not enough. Played him at Bolton, was brilliant, scored 2 goals, got himself a brace. Then he came on against Leicester and was superb. I thought he was good when he came on against Bournemouth as well when we were 2-0 down. I need to start seeing more of him. I need to start seeing 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and then maybe a half of football. That's what I need to see from Ethan Wanyeri. I'm not saying Trossard's not the answer, but while Odegaard's out, he's got to have this opportunity, hasn't he? Last few questions before we come to a close. This one comes in from Unknown T. He says, do you enjoy watching us play football? I haven't enjoyed watching us since 22-23 season, if I'm honest. I thought we were really good that season and it was beautiful to watch. We were attack. And I think we caused a lot of problems and maybe shock to people. They didn't quite know how to play against us. Once they found out we ran out of energy and got exhausted, Mikel Arteta started to play a little bit more the way we are now at the start of last season. If you remember last season, it was not pretty against Forest 2-1, Palace 1-0 with 10 men. We hung on. We went up and we had the 2-1. Then we drew 2-2 to Fulham. We drew 2-2 to Chelsea. It weren't pretty. 1-0 in the last minute against Brentford. And I'm thinking, we ain't going to win this league. It was very similar to this, but it was actually an easier start. So you could say this season has actually been better because we've had a harder start and we've got injuries. PTM says, what do you think is going on with the in-stadium support? Why are away fans singing like it's a home game? Do you know what, actually, right? I'll say this. The Emirates has been phenomenal for the last 2-3 years. But on Champions League nights, it is dead. I don't know if it's because the diehard fans aren't going because they're stuck at work. I don't know if it's because they're going on ticket exchange and it's more tourists going. But the away fans are out singing us, man. It's a real issue. So PTM, big up to you for calling it out and saying it how it is because that is so true. This one comes in from Neil. He says, would you sell Jesus and use the money to get the squad better with Eze and Mbeumo? Listen, 2 players I like very, very much. Nico Williams would be my number 1 winger. If I was me, I would go Eze and Mbeumo next. Actually, they'd be my 2 next best bets. I think Mbeumo has been ridiculously good. Can't believe he's still there, if I'm honest with you. So, yeah, I'd be going for that, man. I really would. Jesus, I think he's done this summer. I also think Sterling is done this summer. I don't think that's going to happen. Tomiyasu, I expect to go. Zinchenko, I expect to go. Kivior, I expect to go. Partey and Jorginho, I expect to go. There's going to be a lot of players leaving. Mass exodus. It means we're going to need another 4 or 5 players in the summer, doesn't it? It does, you know. We need a right-sided centre-back still because we're all wondering who's going to play there now. Diamande, somebody like that. Mark Guehi from Palace, somebody like that's got to come in. I still feel like left-back's got to be sorted out. Is it Calafiori? Cool. If it is, no worries. Central midfield has got to be sorted defensively and in the 8. We need a proper number 8 and a proper number 6. And then across the front 3, people are saying we want a winger and a striker. So what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, potentially 5 or 6 more players in the summer. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. So let's see. Scott says Marmoush is coming to Liverpool and Wirtz is going to Bayern Munich. Wow. I don't quite know, if I'm honest. This one comes in and says, if you could choose between Musiala and Wirtz, who would you pick? Why am I holding out for Wirtz here? Why am I going to say Florian Wirtz when Musiala is supposed to be the next best thing? Maybe because I've been more impressed with Wirtz, I think. Musiala's had a bad season with Bayern Munich being bad, if you get me, under Tuchel, because they kind of were. I think I'd go Wirtz, you know. I think I've seen more consistency from Wirtz, but that's because Bayer Leverkusen were balling out. Bayern Munich weren't. I think if you was to say who's the better footballer, I think people would lean towards Musiala, but I think for what Arsenal need, I'm going to go with Wirtz, you know. I think actually both of them will be ending up at Bayern Munich. Yeah, I think both of them could end up at Bayern Munich, which is crazy. People are saying that Man City might look at Wirtz or Musiala to replace Kevin De Bruyne, but I'm hearing that Bayern Munich are looking at getting Wirtz from Leverkusen, and they'll have Wirtz and Musiala to add to Harry Kane's goals and the wingers they've got in Elise and Sane and whatnot. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Good question. Listen, guys, thank you so much for all of your super chats, all of your questions, all of your interactions. Big up to both Northside and Curtis for smashing over and listening to me. I really appreciate that. Both of you guys for the raid. Please make sure you do me a favor. Hit the like on this one and subscribe. We've got 400 people here still. Let me please get to 30k, man. If you do like what I do, then please make sure you hit the like button. If you like Northside, you like Curtis, you'll probably listen to myself and feel like we're similar level as well. So please make sure that you do that. Hit the like button. We've only got 158 likes. 160 now. It is going up. Let's make sure we get that to 250. If you look at this stream and it's not at 250, it means you've got to hit that like button. Look, let's try and get past 250, but that's got to be the target for now from where we're at. Hit the subscribe button. I need to hit more subscribers because we're going to get up to 30k. I can't believe we've got here this quick, but we have. We're flying. You're flying. Hit the subscribe and the like button. They're both free. Yeah. Subscribe and like costs absolutely nothing. So, yeah, let's try and get up to the 30k because that's what we need. Pelu says almost at 30k already is crazy. Big up to you, man. Really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And I do appreciate that. Please do me a favor tonight. Do not miss 7 p.m. You do not want to miss 7 p.m. tonight. Let me tell you this now, people. It's going to go off. It's going to get cooking. It's going to be Igal ranting. It's going to be Northside ranting back. It's going to be Kenny Ken, myself, Brandon, all sitting there trying to understand who's talking about what and what side we're at. And let's get you guys involved. Are you with Igal that it's not time to panic? Are you with Northside that it's like, look, times had enough. Where are we at? You're going to get my opinions, Kenny Ken's opinions, Brandon's opinions as well on top of it. So please make sure that you are there for it. Big up to every single one of you guys. I really appreciate all of you for being here. Please make sure you go and use the code FTM20 for manscaped.com if you would like their products. You get 20% off. Christmas is coming. Please make sure if you haven't done so already that you are going for either the Chairman Pro if you're a shaver, you don't have a beard, the Beard Hedger if you want to shave your beard, or if it's downstairs below the belt, it's the lawnmower. FTM20 is the code you need, 20% off. Take care. We'll see you tonight at 7 p.m. And I'm over on Lee's channel at 4:30. See you next time. Take care, people. Yes, people, Manscaped is back. But this time, it's not for below the belt grooming. Manscaped brings to you the Beard Hedger, the best product on the market when it comes to beard trimmers. The Beard Hedger is unique due to its number of radiant settings. As someone who's purchased this, I won't turn to any other beard trimmer. Check it out for yourself at manscaped.com. And don't forget to use code FTM20 to get 20% off of this product.